Welcome to the Options for Women East Gala 2020, and thank you for attending our first virtual gala. A special thanks also to our staff, volunteers, board members, donors, and all supporters for your contribution. My name is Paul Esch, and it is a pleasure and an honor to be with you again and to support our great cause with music. I've prepared a few songs for you, starting with one by James Taylor, a singer-songwriter who taught so many of us how to play guitar. When you're down and troubled and you need a helping hand and nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll keep running. Yeah, baby, see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a friend. You've got a friend. If the sky above you should turn dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begin to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running. Yeah, baby, see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, ain't it good to know that you've got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you. Well, they'll take your soul if you let them. Oh, yeah, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I come running. Yeah, baby, see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got a friend. You've got a friend. Ain't it good to know you got a friend? Yeah, baby, you got a friend. All right, this next one is a favorite that the Paul Esch Trio has performed many, many times. I hope you enjoy it. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. 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 All right, this next one is dedicated to all those who have had the courage and the faith to start a family. People smile and tell me I am a lucky one, and we've just begun. Think I'm gonna have a son. He'll be like she and me, as free as a dove, conceived in love. Sun is gonna shine above. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Seems as though a month ago I was paid a guide, never got high. Oh, I was a sorry guy. Now I smile a face, a girl that shares my name. Now I'm through with the game. This boy will never be the same. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Pisces, Virgo rising is a very good sign. Strong and kind, and the little boy is mine. Now I see a family where there once was none. Now we've just begun. Yeah, we're gonna fly to the sun. Even though we ain't got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. Love a girl who holds the world in a paper cup. Drink it up. Love her and she'll bring you luck. And if you find she helps your mind, buddy, take her home. Yeah, don't you live alone. Try to earn what lovers own. In the got money, I'm so in love with you, honey, and everything will bring a chain of love. In the morning when I rise, bring a tear of joy to my eyes and tell me everything's gonna be alright. All right. So, we got to keep smiling. Keep going. Be positive. Here's a song to remind us to do that. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, singing, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. All right, we have time for one more. And again, enjoy the program. Thanks again. I'm gonna make a change for once in my life. Gonna feel real good, gonna make a difference, gonna make it right. As I turn up the collar on my favorite winter coat, this wind is blowing my mind. I see the kids on the street, not enough to eat. Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their need? A summer disregard, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. They follow each other on the wind, you know, 'cause they got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know, I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. Na 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 na. Oh no, I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize there are some with no home, not a nickel to loan. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? a willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart, and a washed out dream. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got nowhere to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Now I'm asking him to change his ways. No message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make a change. You gotta get it right, because you got the time, because you try to hard to change your mind. Na 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 na. Make that change. Enjoy the program.
Good evening and welcome to Options for Women East Virtual Gala for 2020. The world's unprecedented circumstances called for us to make this year's event virtual. We hope you are taking part from a location where you are safe, healthy, and contributing in the best way you can to our current health crisis. That said, we look forward to providing an evening of information and inspiration, and thank you from the bottom of our collective heart for your presence, commitment to the cause of Options for Women East, and for your understanding of the difference you can make in the lives of young women facing a life-changing decision about childbirth. My name is Rich Henkels, and I'll be your virtual host this evening. Initially connected to Options for Women East through a family member, over the last several years, I've come to recognize and understand the immensely important role the clinic plays in the lives of many young women and their families. I'm thankful for the comparatively little role I can play in supporting the clinic and the staff members who support the clinic through their delivery of services, commitment to their jobs, and unyielding professionalism. Tonight's agenda includes the following: a review of the clinic, its services, its equipment, and capabilities, an address from the clinic's executive director, a testimonial from one of the women served by the clinic and its staff, a message from a very special guest that I am sure you will find incredibly inspirational. And the night will close with special comments from Father John Paul Erickson. Thank you for joining us for our 30th annual Celebrate Life Gala, and for your ongoing support of Options for Women East. Enjoy the program. Many of you with us tonight have been long-term supporters of Options for Women East. Others are relatively new to the organization and its mission. My guess, however, is that all of you are familiar with our next speaker. And if you are not, I urge you to do so, because you will be well served. To get to know her, she'll get to know you, and you'll both get a better understanding of what is indeed a shared mission. Jennifer Meyer has been with Options for Women East since 2013. In that time, she's done everything from pregnancy tests to writing grants. This experience and her personal devotion to this mission has served her well in her current role as executive director. She came to Options East with a master's in technical communications, many years in the nonprofit sector, and years of customer service. She has a passion for women who experience an unexpected pregnancy and the journey that follows that decision. When away from the clinic, she loves to spend time with her family of 3 almost adult children, Alex, Sammy, and Hunter, who keep her very busy. Her wonderful husband, Chris, who always is understanding when she shows up late from work after a long night at the clinic, and of course her loving dog, Emma, who, without reservation, greets her at the door after a hard day. Introducing Jennifer Meyer.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Meyer. I have the absolute privilege of being the executive director at Options for Women East in St. Paul, Minnesota. I want to thank you for attending our virtual gala. This is not how I pictured this night would be, but thanks to God's grace, some very talented people were able to bring you a night of sharing stories of hope, compassion, and love. That is truly what we do at Options East. We love. We love the women we serve. We love walking alongside the pregnancy journey with them. We love holding their hand when things get tough. We love seeing that newborn baby and knowing that we had a small part to play in that child's life. And we love what we do. Not to brag, but I have the most amazing staff. Day in and day out, they come to work ready to change lives. Our mission is their mission, to love these women unconditionally, without reservation, without judgment, and with complete compassion. Due to things out of our control, we've had to change how we serve our clients and patients. We're taking extra precautions to keep them and our staff safe. And we're thrilled to say we're open. We've modified our services and our hours, but the need has not changed. Now more than ever, we need to meet women wherever they're at. We're seeing increases in pregnancy tests, necessary basic prenatal care, and overall material assistance. There's a lot of fear surrounding our world right now, and our women are scared. But we want to be a light in the darkness for them. We want to be that beacon of hope. We're asking for prayers for these women, prayers for their families, for the doctors and staff that care for them. Did you know we offer full prenatal care, including delivery? We are so blessed to have 3 volunteer doctors that give unselfishly of their time to conduct appointments on site and deliver at area hospitals. We do not only meet these women during challenging times, we are with them during the entire pregnancy and for a full year after they give birth. Just this year alone, over the past 4 months, we've had 28 patients in our prenatal program and 11 babies delivered by our doctors. The women in our prenatal program come to us because they lack medical insurance, they don't have positive support to help them continue with the pregnancy, or at this time, they cannot get care at other clinics. This is how we're filling the prenatal care gap. We're able to do this because of all the wonderful people who came before us. We celebrated our 30th anniversary earlier this year on January 22nd, the anniversary of Roe v. Wade. And over that time, we've helped so many women and their families find the love and support they deserve when dealing with an unintended pregnancy. And we've grown over the years. We now have 3 nurses, a registered sonographer, education coach, and admin team. We've started new programs, including car seat, childbirth, and fatherhood gathering. We also have a new volunteer track and have just recently added a licensed nutritionist to our prenatal program. And we are so blessed to be in an amazing clinic that we own and be in an area that truly needs our services. Now, you know we've invited you here tonight to hear a message and share it with others. We want you to be part of this journey with us. By donating tonight, you'll be giving women the chance to hear truthful medical information about the life of her baby. You will be giving her the chance to sit with someone who deeply cares for her now and after she makes her decision. These women do not just come into our lives for a few minutes. They stay with us long after they leave the clinic. We continue to pray for them. We continue to hope for them. We continue to worry about them. When a decision is made, it not only affects one person, it affects everyone that became part of that story. We all have that special woman we hold dear in our heart. It may be the one that decided to abort right after her ultrasound. It may be the one that miscarried after trying to reverse her chemical abortion. It may be the one that delivered a stillborn at 7 months. And it may be the one that decided in that ultrasound room that what she saw on the screen was precious, was worthy, had value, and deserved to be loved from that moment on. Only God knows how the story will play out for these women. And we are blessed to be part of that story. Tonight, I ask you to prayerfully think about your impact our clinic has had on our community and your role in that. God has called us all to do something amazing in His name. What is that for you? When these women walk through our doors, they become part of our family. We want you to join our family and experience that life-saving grace. I'm excited to share 2 client stories from Nevaeh and Rachel. And coming up, you'll also hear from Melissa Oden, who has been so gracious with her time to help us pivot to this virtual event. Enjoy their stories, and thank you for your time and all the generous blessings you have given to us. Good night.
Hi, I'm Nevaeh. I'm 19 years old and I'm a new mom. I just had my son on the 8th of April. A friend actually referred me to the clinic at Options for Women in Woodbury, and then they transferred me over to the East Clinic. I just like how they're super helpful and it's always just a really happy environment, and I just feel really welcome here. I really enjoyed that they were really encouraging on just the classes that they provided for us, and anything that we needed, they were willing to help. I always like coming to my appointments just because they're just really fun, and I like coming here just to see everything and learn a lot of new things. Yeah, I would definitely refer people.
And what is it like being a new mom?
I like it. I did not know that much, but now it's like coming out of here, I feel super confident and it's great. It's just a really good place here and I don't want to leave.
Alright, so hi, my name is Rachel Copeland-Nunn. I'm 25 years old. I'm from St. Paul, Minnesota, and I have 2 kids, a boy and a girl, Ivy and Ivan. To Options for Women, basically is, her young single pregnant girl needing help and stuff like that. And I want to say, I think it was my caseworker who referred me and was telling me about a place that has basically a program where you do educational classes and then you earn points to buy brand new baby stuff for your baby. And so 6 years ago, before I had my daughter, I was 18 and wasn't really able to work with being pregnant like that at that point. And so I just started coming here every week to the classes because you guys always we're really good at giving baby stuff. Yeah, like, so I found out about you guys back then when I had my daughter. I remember I started coming here again when I was pregnant with my son. This time it was, because like the first time I did it, it was like a group class, and then the second time it was like one-on-one. You know, just talk about a lot of stuff. And then I guess from being younger, just you know, it's more scary, I think, because it's like the first time, and then you're basically a baby having a baby. And so you have to grow up. Like, I grew up really fast. I had to become more responsible very fast. Yes, of course, I would definitely refer them to come here. They're great people. They'll be they're willing to help you as much as you're willing to help yourself. I love talking to Nicole. We can talk forever. I think you guys are not like judgy, because it's hard to come to a place where you feel like you're being judged when you're there asking for help. So that's great. Like, you know, like you guys are always very nice and kind, and gave me a lot of respect. So I appreciate that. I love my kids. They're just so cute. Like, they're so cute. And I'm like, I did that. I gave birth to these beautiful, beautiful little kids. Just being able to hold them, like, I just love them so much. Like, I don't like, and that's another thing too, like, now that I am a mom, I can't imagine life without them.
It is time now for what has become the highlight of our annual Spring Gala. In the past, Options for Women East has been blessed to include featured speakers with a variety of direct connections and commitments to our mission. Mothers, healthcare professionals, authors, and political activists have shared their inspiring stories and vision from our podium. This year, we have a special treat for you, stepping up to our virtual podium. Tonight's keynote speaker is the survivor of a failed saline infusion abortion in 1977. Despite the initial concerns regarding her future after surviving the attempt to end her life at approximately 7 months gestation, she has not only survived but thrived through her endless efforts to share her story and make a difference in the lives of young women faced with what is ultimately a life-changing decision. Melissa Oden is a master's level prepared social worker and the author of You Carried Me, A Daughter's Memoir. She is the founder and director of the Abortion Survivors Network. Melissa is a frequent contributor to pro-life news outlets and a regular guest on radio and television programs around the world. Melissa and her husband, Ryan, live in Kansas City, Missouri with their 2 daughters, Ava and Olivia, fulfilling the purpose that she believes God set out for her when he saved her from the certain death of the abortion attempt. Melissa is truly a voice for the voiceless. It is with great pleasure, appreciation, and respect I introduce you to Melissa Oden.
Good evening. I'm Melissa Oden, and I am honored to be joining you tonight, even virtually, to support Options for Women East. And even though I typically come into speeches with quippy jokes about maybe my travels getting there that night or sports, depending on what's happening in the season, I happen to come from the home of the Super Bowl champions this year. If you don't know this about me, I'm a huge Chiefs fan. Don't hold it against me. I know this is dangerous to talk about in the Minnesota area. You know, I might joke about sports. I might joke about the weather, all of those things. And, you know, certainly the state of our world leaves me without a lot of sports jokes, or I haven't really traveled outside of my house for about 6 weeks. So my jokes are limited. But you know, what I hope to come to you with tonight is still joy. Not jokes, but joy. And I hope that we can laugh along the way tonight, whether it's through maybe some of the things that your MC has to say tonight, because I hope that you still have joy in the midst of this season that we're in. I know times are difficult. The times are difficult for the women and the men and the children that Women's Options for Women East serve. I have no doubt that it's difficult for all of you in some way, shape, or form, and it has been for my family and I too. But I hope that you can see in my face and hear in my voice that I still have so much joy. My joy comes from seeing what the Lord has done in my life for the last 42 years, from seeing what he does in our world every single day, performing miracles and saving lives like mine, elevating lives of other people. And that's truly the work of Options for Women East. They are cultivating joy. They are allowing hope to be born into this world through the services and supports that they offer and provide. And pandemic or no pandemic, those services are still being provided. They may look a little bit different right now, but the reality is women and men and children are still in need of hope and joy and so much support these days, really now more than ever. And so as we gather tonight, I hope that you have hope, or you find some tonight in our time together. I hope that you find further joy in this season that we're in. Maybe you'll find some renewed purpose. I have been reflecting so much in these last almost 6 weeks that I've been quarantining with my family. And, I love that not a moment of it has been wasted. And so as you gather tonight with your friends, family, loved ones, maybe people you've met at events past for Options for Women East, as we gather virtually, I hope that you do enjoy your time, your fellowship, even if it's virtual at this point. And I'm just thankful for your continued commitment to Options for Women East. I want to share parts of my story with you tonight to really remind you of why the services and supports at Options for Women East are so important. I know I don't have to convince you. Hopefully that's why you're online here tonight, is because you know the importance of the work that this ministry is doing. But I hope tonight I can further convict you so you can remember on the difficult days why your support of Options for Women East is so important. I can age myself very quickly if you haven't read anything about me. We'll just get a few finer points out of the way. I know that 42 years ago, so I'm 42, that's the fine point, right? Moving on from that. 42 years ago, I know my birth mother looked an awful lot like the women who come through the doors of Options for Women East. My birth mother really fits most statistics when it comes to abortion. She was 19 years old. She was a college student. She wasn't yet married to my biological father when she found herself facing her unplanned pregnancy with me. And sadly, what I've learned about my birth mother is that she fits another statistic that isn't often talked about in our society, and that's coercion. It's such an interesting thing that we live in a society that talks about abortion being a choice and a right. But when you peel back those words and you listen to women's experiences, if you sat down with Jennifer and her team, if you read through the research, I'm sure that you would find that very few women really have any real choice when it comes to abortion. Statistically, we hear that about 64% of women identify feeling pressured into their abortion decision. And really, I spent most years of my life believing that first it was my birth mother's choice to have the abortion that was meant to end mine. And as I started to study her background a little bit, I suspected she was coerced like so many women. And sadly, what I learned in recent years is that it was taken one step further for her. The saline infusion abortion that was meant to end my life isn't just something that she was coerced into her. It was literally forced upon her against her will. She was given no resources, no support. Every single choice was taken away from her. And in her case, it was her mother, my maternal grandmother, who was responsible for forcing that abortion. I think sometimes people want to think that what happened in my life and my birth mother's life is somehow very unique. But I can tell you that I hear stories like my birth mother's day in and day out, and I'm sure Jennifer and her team do. Very well-intentioned friends and family members, sometimes members of the clergy or medical professionals even, can be the ones responsible for the coercion and force behind an abortion. In my grandmother's case, I know she knew an awful lot about the scientific and the biblical basis for when life begins. She was a prominent nurse in their community of Sioux City, Iowa. But along with that great knowledge of the dignity and value of life also came that knowledge of how to make a secret forced abortion take place on her own daughter, bypassing hospital regulations and procedures at the time. From what I've been told, her friend and colleague, the local abortionist, owed her a really big favor. That really big favor led to them forcing that abortion upon my birth mother, believing that no one would ever find out that it wasn't her choice, and most certainly no one would ever hear from me. I know it's not ever a pleasant thing to hear about an abortion procedure, especially on a night like this when we're celebrating the life-saving, life-transforming work of this ministry. But I want to share a little bit about that saline infusion abortion with you so you can understand just what God has done in my life. That saline infusion abortion involved injecting a toxic salt solution into the amniotic fluid surrounding me in the womb. The intent of that toxic salt solution was to poison and scald me to death. Usually the procedure lasted about 72 hours. The child would soak in that toxic salt solution, being poisoned and scalded to death. And after their life was effectively snuffed out by that toxic salt solution, then premature labor was induced with the intent of that deceased child being expelled from the womb. No matter what people believe about abortion in our society, most people tend to agree that what happened to me in that abortion procedure was horrific. But I always encourage people to take a step back and remember that what happened to my birth mother in that abortion procedure, that was also horrific. That's why we're here tonight. That's why Options for Women East exists, because every woman deserves better than what my biological mother went through in that abortion procedure. Every woman deserves better. You know, I know through my own medical records that when it comes to that abortion procedure, it was more horrific than anyone could even imagine. Because through my medical records, I've learned that I soaked in that toxic salt solution for not just 3 days, but actually 5 days. 5 days while they tried time and time again to induce my birth mother's labor with me. I often joke I'm a little stubborn. I just was not budging. I like to think the Lord knew I needed that stubborn streak spirit. But of course, all kidding aside, back then, the longer I soaked in that toxic salt solution, the greater the likelihood should have been that my life was successfully ended. And so on the 5th day, when my birth mother's labor and I was delivered in the final step of that abortion procedure, they believed that it had succeeded. And they were shocked when I was accidentally born alive that day. You know, I wish I could tell you that everyone there rejoiced that day when I was born alive. But in 2019, in particular in our society, I'm sure you heard some of the words that I've heard for many, many years about lives like mine. Our world calls people like me, people who survive abortions, they call us the dreaded complication of abortion. A child who lives. Like somehow I'm someone who should have been avoided. This should have been prevented. This shouldn't have happened. And certainly that was the frame of mind for some people that day at the hospital 42 years ago. I was told long ago that when I was delivered alive in that abortion procedure, the abortionist looked upon my live birth and demanded that I be left to die. Unfortunately, I've now learned that it was someone much closer to me who made that demand. It was my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, who demanded to the other nurses that I be left in the hospital to die that day. And I don't share that with you for you to judge her or condemn her. I know it's easy for people's minds to go there. I simply share that with you because I want you to understand that this is what abortion has done to our society. That people now make life and death decisions about lives like mine every single day. But more importantly, I share it with you because this is where love comes into play. No matter what I've ever found out about my maternal grandmother, my abortionist, my biological parents, none of it changes the fact that I love them unconditionally. as a fellow human being who is broken, who God loves. And I know so many people struggle with that. And I can tell you that when you love someone, truly love someone for who they are, no matter what they've done to you, it changes your life. I wouldn't be who I am. I wouldn't do what I do if I didn't first love that abortionist and my maternal grandmother and my biological parents. And I am forever grateful that no matter what decisions my grandmother made about my life that day, there were nurses on staff at that hospital who defied her very orders. My mom and dad were told years ago that there were 2 nurses in particular who intervened to save my life. And I was blessed just about 2 years ago now to be contacted by a nurse directly who was able to share more of the story with me. She wasn't there in the room that day when I was delivered alive, but she was working in the neonatal intensive care unit when a tall blonde nurse rushed me in. In her words, she was unwilling to just leave me there to die like she had been told. And so she rushed me off to the NICU, believing that if other people found out that the abortion had failed and this little girl had lived, that maybe somehow they could provide medical care that would sustain my life. Clearly, it has. You would never know by looking at me today that when I survived that abortion procedure, I weighed a little less than 3 pounds, which indicated to the medical professionals that my birth mother was much further along in her pregnancy than the 18 to 20 weeks that the abortionist had indicated. In fact, now we believe she was probably about 31 weeks pregnant with me when that abortion was forced upon her. You would never know by looking at me that when I survived that abortion, I was still fighting for my life. I suffered from a number of complications, and the doctors were very guarded about what my future might hold. But I am so grateful that no matter what my parents were told, my mom and dad opened their hearts and their home to me and adopted me, knowing that they were called to be my parents. And even though it was a rocky journey for me to find out my survival story at the age of 14 and go on my own path of healing and forgiveness towards my biological parents, I have been so fortunate to be loved into life by my adoptive parents, and now to be loved mightily by my biological family. You know, when I think about love, I really do think about the work of Options for Women East. You know, yes, we know they provide great educational resources. They provide material assistance. They provide counseling, choices counseling for women who are making decisions. They provide counseling and support for women after they've had an abortion and need support. But I think so much all of that is truly grounded in love and compassion. And that's what my life has been shaped by. I've been loved by so many people in my life. First, those nurses who met me in the hospital and intervened, and then my adoptive parents, and now, as I shared, my biological family. I have now been united with my biological mother, which is an incredibly huge blessing to me. I first met my birth mother about 3 years ago now, and it was a long journey for us to be connected. I found out who she was in 2007. But her family did some communication with me, but made it clear that my messages would never be passed along to her because they had no relationship. And I now understand why that is. Knowing that my maternal grandparents were behind that forced abortion, it makes incredible sense that their relationship has been forever changed. And I share that with you because this isn't just a story of my biological family's lives. It's a story of many people's lives when it comes to abortion. Abortion doesn't just end a life most of the time. It impacts people's relationships and it changes families for generations unless there is healing that occurs. And so I really want you or anyone you know to take advantage of the services that Options for Women East provide, especially when it comes to post-abortion healing. I truly believe that for us to restore a culture of life in our society, we must heal from the pain of abortion, and that starts with each and every one of us. So I hope that you can pass along that message to others or maybe take advantage of it yourself. When I met my birth mother just a few years ago, I was able to learn some of the greatest secrets about my survival that even my adoptive parents didn't know over the years. And really the greatest secret of all was that she spent over 30 years of her life believing that I had died that day at the hospital. She did not know that I had survived. I know. I almost have to take a deep breath about that, right? It's almost hard to imagine that she could never know that I survived, but it was kept a secret from her. I was placed for adoption without her ever knowing. And so she walked out a long journey of pain and suffering, great regret in her own life. And before we met face to face for the first time, we had been passing along messages, exchanging pictures and emails for a number of years, building walls of trust and love with one another before we met face to face, so she could know that she truly is loved and she is forgiven. I'm happy to tell you my birth mother is now a huge part of my life. She's one of my greatest supports. And I love that in the midst of all of the pain and suffering in her life and mine, God has woven the stories of our lives together. When I moved to Kansas City a little over 7 years ago with my family, what I never could have fathomed is that this is where my birth mother lives. I used to live in Sioux City, Iowa. At the time, I didn't know that that is where my birth father was living. That's also where I survived that failed abortion. I gave birth to our oldest child in that very same hospital where my life was supposed to end. And God was just not done to have us move to Kansas City, not knowing my birth mother and one of my half-sisters lives here. It's almost, it's almost too much to wrap your head and your heart around, isn't it? But I am so grateful. My birth mother and my half-sister and I are great supports. We love one another. My children are raised alongside their cousins. They know my birth mother as one of their grandmothers. And I am just forever grateful that I survived to serve God in this world, to heal my family, to bring the truth to my biological mother, and to support organizations just like Options for Women East. And so now I want to encourage you to think about how God is calling you to use your life. You know, I know that most people don't have the same purpose in this world as I do. You know, I think if I would suggest to most people that they become a public speaker, most people would want to run away, right? Some of you want to run away right now. Yeah, no, thank you. Don't sign me up. The good news is not everybody's called to be a public speaker. Not everybody is called to take a public stage and talk about abortion. But all of us are called to do something when it comes to lives being saved and transformed. And so tonight, really, this is your great opportunity to say yes to God the way that I have, and really discern how he is calling you to support Options for Women East. You know, there are so many ways you can do this: by praying for them and their board, by praying for the women and the men and the children that they serve. You can give of your time and your talent as a volunteer, maybe as a board member, maybe being a part of some special projects that they're doing. There's always something you can do to support this ministry. Time and talent are huge, and you just can't put a number on that. But the other way that they can really use your yes is through financial giving. And we need to talk about that tonight, because the reality is this event, their annual event, meets their budget, the bulk of their budget, God willing, all of their budget for the year. And that means keeping the doors open, the lights on, providing the services and support that the women and the men and the children that they serve so desperately need. And if we think about what this pandemic has done, what it has really done is create more of a crisis in so many people's lives. And so I do truly believe that Options for Women East is going to be needed now and in the upcoming year more than ever, as they meet the needs of people who very well could choose an abortion in the face of the crisis that they're facing. So now is not the time for us to give up or be complacent or, you know, maybe give less than sacrificially. Now is the time to say yes wholeheartedly, because it will make all the difference in the world to people right there in your community. So I want to talk to you about financial giving. I know that there has been a matching grant, so $25,000 have been raised. The goal for tonight is for $50,000 in pledges to come in to total $75,000, which would really help meet that operating budget for the year. I don't know you, I can't see you yet, but I truly believe that this is possible because I know God has put it on your heart and has brought you into this event tonight to do just that. So you can give a one-time gift tonight. That one-time gift could meet the needs of this ministry. I want to give you some numbers. $5,000 would cover all prenatal expenses for 2 patients for her entire pregnancy. That's a gift of $5,000. A gift of $2,500 would cover group classes and supplies for 6 months for moms and dads. A one-time gift of $1,000 would cover education for 1 client for 1 year. $500 would cover 1 initial prenatal consultation, and $250 would cover 1 ultrasound for a woman who needs to see that miracle of life on the screen. And we know that's where hearts are changed when women see the truth about the life growing inside of them. We know predominantly women say yes to that. So that's an incredibly important part to touch on is ultrasound. So a one-time gift is incredibly important to this ministry, but I also want to talk a little bit about monthly gifts. Monthly gifts really are what I call the lifeblood of ministries like Options for Women East. If Jennifer and her team know that they can depend on your monthly gift month after month, they don't have to worry about when the next event like this is going to be. They know that their needs are going to be met. So there's consistency and stability in the ministry financially. And when they have that consistency and stability financially, they pass along that consistency and stability to those that they serve. So monthly gifts are so incredibly important. I know that they have Partners for Life, which is an opportunity for you to be a part of that club, that group, Partners for Life. And that allows them to cover the operating costs for the month. So the goal is to have enough Partners for Life to meet $12,500 worth of costs that month. So it looks like there needs to be about 60 partners partnering to make that goal of $12,500. I know that there is a real need right now to continue to increase the number of Partners for Life that there are giving monthly gifts so there can be that consistency and stability. So if you could give a monthly gift, that monthly gift is huge right now for Jennifer and her team. And as I close my time with you, I know I've gone a little bit over. Jennifer, you can't pull me off the stage since I'm behind a camera. You can the next time I see you somewhere. I just want to encourage you for a second and ask you to consider whether you can give both a one-time gift and a monthly pledge. And I share that with you because I do truly believe it's possible to do that. My husband and I adopted a motto a number of years ago, and it's one you've probably heard before, but maybe not in this context. Our motto is to live more simply so someone else can simply live. Live more simply so someone else can simply live. What that meant for us is that we learned to cut things out of our budget that weren't necessary. And I mean, isn't this interesting? The pandemic, I think, has taught a lot of us about what's truly essential and what is not. It means for us, we gave up cable so long ago. It means that I don't get coffee from anywhere from our kitchen or the inside of an airplane. I know I'm not supposed to drink it, but I do. Because think about how much money I save by not drinking any coffee in the airport or going through a drive-through after I've taken my kids to school or something like that, right? There are so many little things that we have figured out that we can cut out of our non-essential budget so that we can give both one-time gifts and monthly pledges to ministries that we support. So we've chosen to live more simply, knowing that then someone else can simply live. And so I just want to ask you to prayerfully consider everything you've heard tonight, from my story, from what Jennifer had to share with you, through my own discussing what the budget is and what their needs are. I would ask for you to prayerfully consider how the Lord is calling you to give, whether it's your time, your talent, your financial treasure, your prayer, and whether you could give both a small monthly gift on top of a month of your one-time gift tonight. So that monthly gift and a one-time gift. I would ask you to prayerfully consider everything and then proceed with your giving for Options for Women East. Thank you again for your time tonight, your attention. I hope this allows you to bring other people into this ministry so they can get to know it and fall in love with it. And the Lord bless you and keep you in this time that we're in. Thank you so much.
My name is Father John Paul Erickson, and it's my privilege and honor to serve not only as the pastor of Transfiguration Parish, but also as the chaplain to the board of Options for Women East, this beautiful, beautiful work of love that takes place in the East Metro. I want to thank all of you for participating in this virtual gala and also encourage you to be generous to this important apostolate. All of you are here, all of you are watching because of your love for the unborn, for your love for mothers in times of need, for your love for fathers who are striving to do the right thing. And we show love through sacrifice. And these are challenging times, but they are times in which we are called to love sacrificially. We are called to sacrifice for the greater good. And certainly the work that is done right there at Options Women East is a greater good. It is a great work of love that I encourage you to give to even more generously this year than perhaps you have in the past. I'd like to conclude our time together with a prayer. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. We entrust this work, we entrust all of our own struggles, all of our own difficulties, and the intention of a speedy end to this current crisis to our Blessed Mother. As we say, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. May Almighty God bless you all.